My mom's French from Nova Scotia, Canada. My dad's from Alaya, Sicily. Pinto. I'm a mutt. It's gray. 63. It's getting gray.
I didn't know we asked each other that though, man. I thought it was automatically assumed that we all do.
I'm lucky to have hair. So I'm lucky to have hair. I'm getting thin. If I didn't have so many knots and stuff on it, I'd shave it.
Hammond City Council public hearing agenda. Roll call, please.
Councilman Andrews.
Present.
Councilman DiViterio.
Present.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Present.
Councilman Leon.
Present.
Councilman Wells.
All right, old business, number one.
An ordinance to approve rezoning by Dimitri Carter from RM-2 to MX-C in accordance with the preliminary plat by Bowden and Webb, Inc., dated 12/13/2019, concerning 508 South Range Road, Charles Barsher.
Councilman, I believe you had asked to table this.
Okay, yes, this item is going to be actually tabled until we have another meeting between the community and the neighborhood and the property owner. So I'll provide a date on when this item will probably come back to the agenda. I feel strongly that it might not make the next March meeting. It'll probably be the first meeting in April. So this item is going to be tabled until then. Sorry about that, Charles. Public hearing item, new business number one.
An ordinance request by Spencer Rossi to rezone 207 West Morris Avenue from MX-C to MX-CBD to better conform with downtown Hammond and the surrounding properties. The property is located in Council District 2, the Hammond Historic District, the Thomas More Street Economic Development Overlay District, and the Hammond Downtown Development District. Charles Barsher.
As I noted during the introduction at the last meeting, this request is to bring the property into conformance with some of the downtown development properties. MX CBD is Central Business District. That is our downtown zoning. And you can see from this zoning map that there's a mixture of MXC and MX CBD. You see a lot more MX CBD nearer the railroad tracks. This was reviewed by Planning and Zoning and recommended for approval by the council. And I believe Mr. Rossi or a representative is here.
Spencer Rossi, 175 Sandra Lee Drive. This came up when I met with zoning in the historical district about developing this space, and it was actually at their recommendation to make this change. And then as Charles mentioned, it went to zoning, and we got a unanimous vote there.
Anyone else from the public on this item? I need you to step to the mic, give your name and your city, please.
My name is Anthony Zapardo, and what else you need to know?
What city?
What city?
I'm in Louisiana,
All right.
205 South Magnolia. I don't understand why the zoning that they had before just about does everything. And but they already approved it for change. I'm just nervous about it, that's all. Mr. Rossi just assured me that it's going to be nice, whatever he does there.
What's the major differences between the MXC and MXCBD?
Well, the difference is bottling plant, publishing, establishing, printing plant, canning and preservation of foods, lumber yard, part of a retail establishment, contractor storage yard, carpentry shop, and any retail or wholesale use not storage above ground of petroleum and other inflammable liquids in excess of 100,000 gallons. So other than that, that's the only difference that I see between the two things, the MX and neighborhood mixed use versus CMC commercial mixed use. But
So, Dr. Zapardo, I think you are reading it, you said neighborhood. It's not neighborhood. It would be MXCBD instead of MXC. So just,
stuff's confusing.
I know, there's a lot here, but there's, if the UDC, now I'm using the chart, and we understand the chart is not always exactly perfect, but it gives you a pretty clear idea. There's, for example, you can't build a single-family home here because it's CBD. We want it to be downtown. Mixed commercial, which you have now, you could. There's a group care facility, could be done at MXC, but it can't be done at MXCBD. So it's actually more restrictive than what it currently is. He's asking to do something that's more restrictive on just kind of like wide-range uses. And
I'm so ignorant of what's going on.
no, it's a good question, and you know, why would someone want to be more restrictive? Well, they're trying to fit into downtown. So as they said, you know, the
But it's
DDD,
part of the historic district and the downtown development district.
it's got 3 different overlays on it: historic district, the Thomas Morris overlay, and the DDD. So there's
I
technically,
feel sorry for Mr. Rossi. 'Cause
well, you're right next door. So you're right next door, so you're going to have the same kind of issues. But you know, to me, as I read it, it's a lot more restrictive, which then probably helps the neighborhood.
Just to clear the air, one of his concerns was if there would ever be a gas station, correct me if I'm wrong, but that would not be allowed. Not be allowed.
Let me double check that as we're.
That might be one of that might be one of the differences between the MXC and MXCBD.
Right.
It might be an MXC, but it may not be an MXCB, the gas stations.
Yeah, I'm looking real quick to double check that, just so we know.
Either way, I can say it.
It looks like you're correct. You can have a convenience store without gas, but not a convenience store with gas. So, well, you could have like a small grocery store, something like that, a small retail space without gas pumps in front.
That'll be all.
Just to clarify, there is a conditional use for a convenience store with gas, so that would require special approval. That's not what's being requested here. There's no conditional use that's being requested here. So,
Okay. Public hearing item number 2.
An ordinance request by Spencer Rossi to rezone 211 West Morris Avenue from MX-C to MX-CBD to better conform with downtown Hammond and the surrounding properties. The property is located in Council District 2, the Hammond Historic District, the Thomas Morris Street Economic Development Overlay District and the Hammond Downtown Development District. Charles.
This is very similar to the previous one. This is actually the adjacent property. Same rationale here, also went before planning and zoning and was approved and recommended for approval by the council.
Okay. Anyone else from the public on this item? Anyone from the council? Public hearing item number 3.
An ordinance request for a street renaming by Councilman Kip Andrews to rename East Colorado Street to Laura Knighton Drive. Charles Bauscher.
This is also recommended for approval by the Planning and Zoning Commission. All the requirements for the street renaming have been met.
Anyone from the public have any questions or concerns on this item? Anyone from the council?
And Kip, this is your proposal, correct?
All right. Hammond City Council regular session agenda, 5:39 p.m. Roll call, please.
Councilman Andrews.
Present.
Councilman Divatario.
Present.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Present.
Councilman Leon. Councilman Wells.
Stand for our prayer, please. Eternal Heavenly Father, we thank you on this day, for this is a day that you have made. We shall rejoice and we shall be glad about it. Father God, we entered into your courts with praise and thanksgiving on our lips, just thanking you for another day's journey. Father God, we know that we're not a perfect people, but we strive for perfection. So, Father God, I ask that you continue to touch the hearts and minds of these, your precious people. Continue to bless each council person as they continue to serve. Continue to bless their districts right now. I ask that you continue to bless our mayor, our administration, continue to bless our police department, our fire department. Continue to bless each city employee. Continue to bless our cities. We continue to move forward to better our city and our community right now. Father, but there's every time we need you right now. So we just thank you right now for exceedingly abundantly above all that we can ever ask or think. We come right now, Father God, on this evening just to give you glory, honor, and praise, but everything will be done decent, order, pleasing in your sight. Therefore, you will get all glory, all honor, and all praise because it all belongs to you. In your darling Son, Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen. For our Pledge of Allegiance, I ask that all veterans and active military please render the proper salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I get a motion to approve our approve our minutes from February 25th, 2025, please?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Divatario.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Leon. Councilman Andrews.
Aye. All right. Final adoption of ordinance, old business.
Final adoption of an ordinance to approve rezoning by Demetria Carter from RM-2 to MX-C in accordance with the preliminary plat by Bowden and Webb, Inc., dated 12/13/2029, concerning 508 South Range Road.
As I stated previously in our public hearing, this item is going to be tabled until further notice.
We need a motion and a second to table.
Make a motion to table.
Second.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Leon. Councilman Andrews.
Aye. Final adoption of ordinance, new business, number 1.
Final adoption of an ordinance request by Spencer Rossi to rezone 207 West Morris Avenue from MX-C to MX-CBD to better conform with downtown Hammond and the surrounding properties. The property is located in Council District 2, the Hammond Historic District, the Thomas Morris Street Economic Development Overlay District, and the Hammond Downtown Development District. Charles Bauscher.
Again, this is recommended for approval by the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Okay. Anyone from the public here on this item would like to make a question, take a question, have any concerns on it? Okay. Anyone from the council? All right. Pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilman Leon. Councilman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Final adoption of ordinance number 2.
Final adoption of an ordinance request by Spencer Rossi to rezone 211 West Morris Avenue from MX-C to MX-CBD to better conform with downtown Hammond and the surrounding properties. The property is located in Council District 2, the Hammond Historic District, the Thomas Morris Street Economic Development Overlay District, and the Hammond Downtown Development District. Charles Barsher.
Again, this one was also recommended for approval by the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Anyone from the public on this item? Any questions or concerns from anyone on the council? Any unreadiness before I move forward with a vote? I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilman Leon. And Councilman Wells.
Final adoption of ordinance number 3.
Final adoption of an ordinance request for a street renaming by Councilman Kip Andrews to rename East Colorado Street to Laura Knighton Drive.
This one was
Charles
also recommended for approval by the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Anyone from the public who would like to make a comment or concern on this particular item? Anyone from the council have any questions or concerns on this item?
I take it the people in our audience are here for this one?
Yes, ma'am. All right. Is there any readiness before I call for a vote? I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilman Leon. And Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Before we move forward in this, into our other part of our agenda, it gives me great joy to be able to see this done, sitting in this seat. I can't speak for everyone that has a 95-year-old person living in a district that moves around like a 45-year-old person. God's will, and I know it's his will. I'll be 53 this year. I know it's his will. And to be able to see her all of my days that I can recollect, she's always been the same. And I believe that the Bible tells us that you give honor where honor is due. It's his well-deserved honor. I'm glad to say that I was a part of it. I see you got that blue and white on tonight, but I ain't gonna touch that one. You should have had the true color, blue and gold, black and gold on. But I see Devon and slipped in here. I didn't know if he was trying to be a Sigma tonight or what. But I know where his heart is. I know that he's still a Kappa all the way. But I feel him tonight. But Miss Knighton, I just wanted to let you know that I love you. And let me stop. But you can come on up if you want to, Craig.
President of the council,
In the mic, talk in the mic.
I want to say thank you for seeing the services rendered and to do something about it. So somebody else may be interested in doing more in their community and with their children. Chip, I would say, you said you were how old?
I'm 52 now.
52 now?
Yeah.
Well,
52 holding 25, but go ahead.
I mean 95. January 6th. And I am the same in my community all those years. I've lived in the same area of Hammond. And I do not have to say anything to the young people now. All I have to do is just walk, or they see me. They say, here comes Miss Knighton, man. Here comes Miss Knighton. And I think we all ought to live that kind of a life
Yeah.
in our community where children, as they grow up, they will respect you. It's, I was raised up a country girl, St. Helena Parish. And my mother and father didn't allow anybody to come to our house that they didn't offer them something to drink, not alcoholic now, but to drink or something to eat. So that's just a part of me. I like to cook, as Kip. You know, and then the kids in my neighborhood, I tell them, don't come in my yard and walk on my grass. You can walk on my concrete right up to my door, but don't walk on my grass because I work too hard to keep my yard pretty, and you can't do that. And they tell others, don't walk on Miss Knighton's grass. You can walk on her sidewalk, but you can't walk on her grass. She doesn't want anybody walking on her grass. And look, I don't have any problem with the kids. Their parents have the problem and come to me. Miss Knighton, would you talk to? I said, well, what are you doing to? But I will. Don't talk about obeying your parents and things. So if we are nice, if we have a good attitude, if we think about how good other people, and you can think about my age, 95, and people respect you for that and for what you have done. That's the kind of life that we all are supposed to live in our communities. So I thank you.
Ms. Knighton, can you come back up to the front, please? I don't know too many Bible verses like Kip. But I do know this one here. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. Mm-hmm. And I thank God I get a chance to see both of them while I'm on earth. But, Ms. Knighton, I got a few gifts for you. But let me say this here. I'm not buying no votes. Because you're not on my side of town. So I ain't buying no votes. I just want to say that for the record. So could you come up, please, favorite? And this is my cousin here, Ms. Knighton, which you know her a long time. And this is what I had to do. I had to actually get with my wife before I bought these flowers. Because I don't supposed to get no other woman flowers without my wife knowing. So, and I got some other gifts for you, too. So could you get some help with this here, please? And this here, I know this here. Kip know where this here come from.
Yeah.
And so, what y'all gave me, you wasn't there, Miss Knight. Yeah. I'm giving this back to y'all.
Phaedra, don't say nothing to her.
Yeah. And, you know, I want to thank Kip for putting this on. It means a lot to me, and him and I, we done talked before. And what people might not understand, in our community, we don't have streets. We don't have nothing named behind our people. We have to go to the graveyard to see our people name. So you a true blessing and a legacy that your grandkids, great-grandkids, and the great-grandkids that you ain't gonna know nothing about and your daughter ain't gonna know nothing about, I'll get a chance to see. So thank you so much, President Kip, Ms. Knighton. You've been a blessing for everything you've been doing, not only on your side of town, but on our side of town. I know the Strawberry Festival coming up, and this year I don't have to worry about taking y'all boot to the Strawberry Festival. So I don't have to worry about that this year. But thank you once again for everything you've been doing.
Good evening, you all. Miss Knighton told me to say something as being the president of the Theta Theta Zeta chapter here in Hammond. It has been an honor. I just want you all to know that she's a Spitfire at 95. when we in meeting and don't do something right, she says, Madam President, can I say something? And if you tell her no, she says it anyway.
Yeah.
So this has been grateful and an honor and a privilege to be here, to see this, to witness this on this evening. Thank you all so much. We appreciate you all.
Phaedra, did you tell Miss Knighton I got my red socks on?
No.
I got my red socks on, Miss Knighton. Okay.
All right. Okay. Introduction of ordinance number 1.
Introduction of an ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances regarding condemnation and demolition of unsafe buildings. Andre Kudring.
Council, I've met with the building official, met with members of the building department and others about the demolition process. We had talks about it, and as a result of that, we're recommending some changes to our existing ordinance. There's no significant changes, but what it does is makes it clearer. We're moving some provisions of state law into our Code of Ordinances. We're removing what we think is an outdated reference to a demolition code. And so we think this will make it at least easier, cleaner, more efficient for our building department folks to move forward on demolition. So I'm happy to answer any questions at the public hearing or now.
I just have one question, Andre.
Yes.
So this removes the crazy calculation, right?
Well, that's what we think. Yeah, we think those percentages were as a result of some reference to that outdated code. Now, there's the UDC provides for standards for unsafe buildings. That's the International Building Code, and that's going to be what the building official will use to determine an unsafe building that he recommends for demolition. Yes, sir.
Okay. That's great. Yeah. Councilman Will?
Yeah, Andre, how you doing today?
Good, thank you.
On Mooney Avenue, in the 700 block, got a brick house that I talked to code enforcement. They didn't see nothing wrong with it. But I want you to pass over there when you get a chance. And I want you to look at that house. And I know about the rules. And for the record, the rules are basically going by what the parish been going by. So those are the rules that we're going by now. I thank you all for going through that process and doing it the way the parish do it. But in the meantime, in the 700 block, this is a house that Robert Morgan see that don't need to be tore down.
What's the address, Councilman?
In the 700 block. I promise you, you're going to see the house. And the community keep crying about the house. But in the meantime, you go down Perry Lane, which a lot of folks don't even know what Perry Lane is. If you go down Perry Lane, which you can't even find this house, you're going to tear this house down, but you don't tear the house down on Mooney Avenue that need to be tore down. And within the last 25 years, I ended up buying a property, which we all know it as Boosters. As soon as I bought that property, they had me to tear the nightclub down, and then a year later, which it was in the newspaper, that how I'm doing something to the neighborhood, but I ain't getting no grant money. That was my money, that I had to redo another house. And what I'm saying is, they told me it was an eyesore. We still got them same damn eyesores in District 3 that everybody can ride by and see. So we need them eyesores out the way. Don't go looking in the woods for houses. Find them houses that people pass by every day. And so this one on the 700 block, and Mr. Mayor, hope you get a chance. And all of us know what this house is if you ride in that area. It don't make sense for the building department official to sit here and say it don't need to be tore down.
So there are also ordinances on repairs, required repairs. So I'll be sure they look at it. If there's any repair that's required on the ordinances, that they look at that for repair. Maybe not taken down, but to have it repaired so it's in a sightly condition.
Mr. Andre, all that you saying, it sound good when we're at the council meeting. Just pass by and look at it. And I want you to sit there and say them same repairs. I don't care if the homeowner repaired, I don't care if the state repaired, I don't care if the city repaired. It's still a house that need to be tore down. So once you pass by there and see it,
Did you see the grading scale on it? Did they have a percentage on that? What was on that one?
Have you ever had a house tore down in 4 years in your district?
It's been
Yeah.
about 5, probably.
Okay, then, thank you. That's the grade on it. That's it, thank you.
Anyone else from the public on this line item? Anyone else from the council? You have to step to the mic, please. Give your name and city.
My name is Clyde Robinson. I'm representing Macedonia Missionary Baptist Church. And it was a question about the demolition. Will we have a system from the city or something to remove the stuff? It's all on the cost of the church.
I'm not sure I understand your question, but there's a report, an inspection by the building official. He'll issue a report to the council president. When the council president gets the report, he sends it to the council for a meeting. Then there'll be a meeting to talk about whether the building should be demolished.
All right, we have a couple of it on our block on Park, East Park. That's potential.
Okay.
I would be sure that gets to the attention of the building official to look at.
Was your question that whether the city gives assistance to tear it down? Okay, I think that's what he was asking about.
The city tear it down, they gonna send the bill to
Yeah.
the.
Could you
yeah.
explain that
If the
process?
city tears it down, they gonna send the bill to the property owner.
So typically in my conversations with the building official, his approach is to help you to clear up your property. So if you have a plan yourself, what to do, he may give you recommendations, then I would speak with him about that. But the point of it is to try to get people to take care of their own property, so the city doesn't have to demolish it. So I would try to get an appointment with the building official about that.
So if the city tear that house down, they're gonna put a lien on the property.
No, I don't want that.
Yes, that's how the process works.
Our biggest process is getting it taken away. I think we got enough equipment and stuff to tear it down, but it's getting rid of the trash from there.
Hauling it to the landfill.
It's certainly not cost effective to have the city do it.
Stanley Campbell, Hammond. I had one quick question. Mr. Andre, when they actually come up for demolition, do we have a process to where the local nonprofits that do real estate can actually get involved and actually purchase those properties? Or they can receive a list of the demolition properties that are scheduled for demolition?
Well, I believe the department has a list of properties that they're looking at for
I
demolition.
think it's on the website. I think
yes.
the demolition list on the
Demolition list
website,
on the
yeah.
website.
But the demolition process doesn't change ownership.
Right,
So the property's still going to be owned by the person who owns the land.
of course.
So it doesn't come into ownership. Now, if you're talking about moving a building, that would be the property owner, whoever owns that building.
No, I'm not talking about moving a building. I'm talking about actually getting a list of buildings that are scheduled for demolition. Basically, in order to save the city some money, if a nonprofit moved in and they started to negotiate with the owner itself, if they had a list where they can negotiate with the owner and possibly take over the property and start fixing it up.
I believe they do have a list of properties they're looking at. Now,
And it's on the website?
I think
There is a demolition list on the website. I don't know if it's updated or not.
Yeah.
But I mean, there is a demolition that has like a list on a link in there, and it'll have the properties listed. It may not be updated or not, but there is a few houses on there. But
if you call there, I think there is a
Yeah.
working list. It may
Yeah.
or may not be current on the website.
yeah, and
They have a list.
but as far as schedule wise, I don't think any of them's been scheduled for a while because they're supposed to come to us and then do it. So I don't think there'll be a schedule when they're getting tore down. They were just a list that's on the, I guess the hot sheet, of demolition,
Right.
properties.
So I asked this past week when we were going to tear down more houses. And apparently they're working with, I think, 3 of the houses right now doing exactly what you said. We like to work with the homeowner, whether it's a nonprofit, that's fantastic, or anybody else who's willing to get out there and help them tear it down, that's great. But it just needs to be done in a timely fashion, if it can be. Like Representative Devon said, we will tear it down, but then we lien the property. So, and we get quotes on people to tear these houses down, and we use the lowest quote if we can, if they're reputable. But still, you may be able to get it done cheaper on your own. That being said, the new system is based on the structural integrity of the house. So if the sills under the bottom are rotted, if the roof is falling in, if the structural integrity of the walls are bad, then that's pretty much what he's determining whether or not that house is solid or not. If it's on a solid concrete slab and the structure on the inside, the studs are good, the joists are good, the ceiling rafters are good, he's probably more than likely gonna deem that not needing to be demolished.
Okay.
So the
From
next
this-
step
from the-
is to find someone who will go in and, whether it was burned or just needing to be stripped and redone, to work with it from that point on.
Okay, but from the administration standpoint, would you guys welcome like a list of
Absolutely.
investors that you guys can call once you actually get that demolition list, and before you actually go and spend the money on it, that we can call those investors to actually see if they.
We would
if they're
prefer if
interested?
they go online and check out
Yeah.
what we have online and give us a call if they're truly interested in helping the people out.
Got it.
But, Mr. Campbell, I'm glad you said that. And Charles, would you like to speak on that? The time we had that meeting in the building permit office, another contractor stated the same thing Mr. Campbell just said? You remember we had that meeting?
I'm sorry, I don't recall that conversation.
Okay, I kind of figured that. Okay, I'm glad you said that, Mr. Campbell. This is what's going on. And Charles, I'm gonna help you refresh your memory so you can help me out. The contractor was trying to do a project on Hewitt Street. Me, you, planning and zoning, the ladies, we all sat in there in that meeting one time. We sat in there an hour and a half, to be exact. But the contractor said the same thing Mr. Campbell said. And so since we're now going over the rules right now, because the rules not in place, so is it any way we can put that in there, Mr. Andre, that let these contractors, these investors go in there and we can set it up where they can bid on these houses, and it'll take the expense off the city, because you're the second investor said that to me. And so instead of just going in there tearing the houses down, which the parish tore down 100 houses. So is it any way that we can sit here and put this in a process where the city, let them be able to contact the homeowner, the property owner? Because a lot of times, a lot of the family members done died away. So that's the type of property we're dealing with. And so is there any way that we can set up something, because we don't have nothing in stone right now, set it up where investors can look at the property and actually purchase it if they can?
Purchase the property from the heirs, that's always available. But yes, the property owners will be notified as a part of the process before it comes up. They will get notice of the council meeting, so the property owners will be aware. Now, if there's a list of investors who may be interested, if that list is in the city's hands, then when the city contacts the property owners, they can say, if you are interested, here are folks who might be available to assist you. That might be a way to get the information to the property owners. Because remember, the city doesn't own the property. The city doesn't own the buildings. And when the demolition process happens, we're still not going to own the property. So it's still a way to communicate with the investors and the property owners. Now, if you're looking about bidding for the actual demolition work, that's something different.
No, not necessarily the bidding. I think the process that I'm talking about is actually the contractors or the nonprofits or whoever it is, the investor, basically them actually being contacted. We're trying to take the expense from the city side. So whenever you're sending it out to the homeowner that this is what's going on, if a heads up can be sent out to these investors, they'll probably do all the work for you. Typically, that's how this do. We basically do a lot of research. We'll do most of the work for you in reaching out to doing skip tracing and finding the family members and trying to actually work things out.
Well, I'm certainly happy to meet with you, Stanley, and talk about your folks and your group and get you all involved on the front end, because that's the point of it. The point of it is to not demolish property.
Right.
Have the homeowners decide if they're going to rehab it or demolish it themselves. So I'm happy to speak with you if there's a group that you think is interested and put you guys in touch with the city.
Definitely.
So in developing myself as well, so if you see a house in this area that you are interested in, just come to the building department, and we'll get on GIS with you and we'll look it up and give you whatever records we have on who the owner is, and you can actually start that process whenever you'd like.
And one more question too. Is it any way Mr. Campbell do a house, so that the city putting a lien against it? Why not let Mr. Campbell put a lien against it? Is there any way we can set it up like that?
Well, the lien's going to be whoever does the work, right? So there's a private individual can't go out and tear down somebody else's property. That's got to be by a government action, by a condemnation where they get notice. So it's whoever does the demolition and bears that cost gets the lien. Typically, the city has to pay somebody else, and that's why the city files a lien. But certainly, I don't know what investor would have, why they would tear down a building, I guess, to get a lien on somebody's property. I don't know that a private group could do that.
I don't think they'd have the permission to do it like the city could do it because it's a city. But
Correct.
the city can't get permission to nonprofits say, hey, go tear this house down on his private owned house. Y'all don't own it either, but y'all the city, so y'all can we can enforce rules that done, and they can step in and do it. But I don't think they can delegate to a nonprofit that go ahead and tear this house down. I don't
Let the nonprofit get the
Yeah,
lien.
I don't think that could
I don't know of a
happen that
provision
way.
in law for a private group to do that.
No, I don't think we could do that.
Best is to have them work directly with the property owner
Yeah.
on the front end.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm asking. Just basically when that list comes out, if they can be involved,
Sure.
Okay. Well, I know a list will be coming down pretty soon because they've contacted me on it, so I'm quite sure they'll be reaching out to some of you guys if any properties are on that hit list in your district. I don't know the proper timeline when it's going to come, but I talked with them about a week ago, so I know that it's coming.
And sometimes it works great. They contacted me, I reached out to the property owner, it literally was torn down the next day, because they don't want to come out and have all their stuff spread into the public. So, we just have to be more proactive, and I thank the administration and the building department and Andre for helping us do better with this, because it's been lacking for quite a while, and I think we hopefully can see a lot of improvement.
Yes, I'm just glad that crazy math equation is going to be stricken from that. Any other people from the audience have a question or concern on this particular item? Anyone from the council? Any unreadiness before I call for a vote? I make a motion to approve.
Second.
I'm sorry to introduce, I'm sorry.
Jumping the gun. Look, stop. Huh?
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Leon? And Councilman Andrews?
Aye. You ready to discuss this? You guys have. All right, let's see. Reports, Mayor?
No reports, but I would like to congratulate Ms. Knighton, 95. My mother's 95 as well. She lives with me, and you move around a lot better than she does, but her mind's sharp like yours. She was an educator. But thank you, because growing up, as I did, I'm 63. I can remember my dad would come home in the evenings after work, and if we weren't close to the house, we were down the neighborhood, we would have friends yell at us or whistle at us, your daddy's home, you better get home, go eat. But you had to be home when it was time to eat. And respect about the grass, my dad was like that. I mean, those times when grandparents had a big impact on kids and grandkids, I wish they were still here, because that would make a big difference with our youth today. So thank you for everything you've done in this community, as Devon said, and congratulations to you.
Council reports?
Kip, some of my constituents are asking me about a little update on the Attorney General submission.
Okay.
Did you get everything submitted?
Everything's been submitted,
Okay.
and it's going through its channels. It's being researched as we speak. Then it's going to be handed off to another attorney to put everything together. Then it's submitted to the AG to make her final determination on it, and then she'll send it back. I received a letter last week on the 5th explaining that process. So that's where we are right now. It's in motion.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other council reports?
Yes, I do.
Strike that one off.
It's a good one, Mr. Mayor. Smile, man. No, I want to thank the mayor for getting involved with this Mooney Avenue project for the park. But Mr. Mayor's always something missing. I didn't see the splash park on there, Charles.
On one I sent you?
Yes.
Did I not include it? I can show it to you. I have it. If you didn't get it, I have the design. I can show it to you.
You sure, huh?
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yes, I would like to see it before we leave here tonight.
Absolutely.
Because that's where I can take that thank you back from the mayor. But I'm going to go and leave the thank you with the mayor. And I want to thank Energy for putting up the lights and stuff. Mr. Mayor, we still have to work on that ditch over there on Phoenix. So I'm gonna be good tonight. We got Miss Knight in here, and I don't want to show out tonight. So Miss Knight, it's best y'all start back coming to the meeting. You and your sidekick, because y'all used to come to the meetings, but y'all stopped coming. Yeah. So thank you again, Mr. Mayor, for everything you're trying to do. And Charles, I'm gonna give you a half thank you. I can't give you a whole thank you, because I've been dealing with you since December. So I'd like to see some progress done in the park before the summer, please. Thank you.
Any other council reports? All right. Charles, 1218 Willow Street. It needs some work done on the actual street. Bad potholes. I'm talking about bad. I don't know if patching gonna be able to resolve that, because it's been patched and the water done washed the patch away. So, while I'm talking to Charles, I want to thank Charles and Courtney for coming out last night to, I'm going to call it a town hall meeting, but actually a neighborhood meeting dealing with the rezoning. I see some of my folks in here tonight. I see in here tonight. That was one of the greatest pleasures I would say to myself, is actually sitting in this seat, because you allow the constituents to really be a part of the government process in moving forward, to let them know that their voices are being heard. That's one of the great things about sitting in this seat. Now, I'm not going to say it was just like the Midline when I was sitting in that seat. Midline was totally different, but allowing people to be a part of the process of what's going on, letting them know that their voices on both sides are being heard. We could agree to disagree, but as long as everything is done decent and in order, you're not going to please everybody. I've learned that since I got in this seat real hard, because if I'm fighting for what you want today, and I'm fighting for something tomorrow that you don't like, I'm the worst thing on 2 feet. But that comes with the package. With that being said, again, Ms. Knighton, before I end this meeting, thank you for being who you are. I'm going to say what my other stuff at alumni meeting on Thursday. She is a Grambling graduate, and she will let you know that. I'm glad to see Miss Jessie sitting on the side of you. One of my other older constituents in the district. It's good to be able to see them moving at their age, and let me know that God is still in the blessing business. And my prayer is that He continue to bless me to be that way. You know, you ask for some grace, but my grace is to be 125. So I pray for that every day. But God continue to bless you. And when I find out when we going to change the sign, we're going to have a block party. All right. Could I get a motion to adjourn? So moved. Meeting adjourned.